Hey, race fans, just 2 weeks from today, on Wednesday, July 16th, is the Masters of the Pros 200. It is the most prestigious pro late model race in the country right here at Owosso Speedway. And as part of the events leading up to that, us gearing up, getting ready, Rex Wheeler is on the phone and talking with Kevin Harvick now. Let's take a second and listen to their conversation.
So since Evergreen, Washington, Kevin, you probably back home, the Carolinas, or
I am. Yeah, we went to Evergreen last Wednesday. Came home Sunday morning. Keelan raced Monday night at the summer shootout. Got rained out last night after practice and qualifying on Tuesday night, and then he races Caraway tonight. So it's been a busy last week or so, but it's kind of the fortunate part of being. I know we raced in Evergreen, but being on the East Coast, you can race a lot during the week, just like we're going to do at your place in a couple weeks. So that's fun during the summer, and to be able to go different places all across the country has been a blast for us to do.
yeah, I can imagine for you as a dad to be able to race this year with Keelan's just got to be over the top. So
It is, and honestly, it really was never the plan. It really just evolved into the timing of the way everything happened, the way that the Cars Tour has grown, and being a part of those events, and the timing of where Keelan's development was with everything that he had going on with his racing career. It just all kind of happened, and it really, when I retired, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to drive anymore. I'm tired of the grind. I don't want to deal with it. And as we went through the Cars Tour East and were able to get into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to run a race series, and then all of a sudden Dale was giving me grief about not racing the car. So I raced the car at North Wilkesboro, and I was like, you know what, this is pretty fun. So I raced it a couple more times, and then everything evolved with Keelan to be able to be on the racetrack at the same time and be able to help. I mean, he can already run faster than me. That's obviously pretty evident. But the racecraft piece of it is really the most important part, to be able to do like we did at Evergreen. At Kern, he burned all his tires up. He got, he won the race, but he burned the tires up, and was 4 or 5 seconds behind the three of us that were racing for the lead. And that was those moments are a lot easier to teach when it's apples to apples in the race car, talking with the exact same equipment and the exact same stuff. I don't get near as much grief as I do when I'm standing there for the legend cars or the go-karts from my driver, when I'm actually in the car with him. So that has been fun, to be able to experience that with him, and watch him learn.
well, yeah, with the on track, I listened to your podcast or listened to you talking a little bit about Evergreen, where the positioning on the track, you got to really see Keelan ahead and see the lines he was running and what he was doing, and the trash talk for us race fans that get to watch you and Keelan, is fun, and there's so much, like you said, the kid is talented, and he's definitely going to be someone we look forward to watching for years and years ahead. But like you said, now it's all that little racecraft detail that he has to learn, um, to be able to have a car at the end. So, here at Owosso, my family, we're big race fans, and ever since talking to Candace, getting you guys to come to Owosso, which thank you, it was easier than we thought to get you guys to come. And I think, like you said, a lot of it's just timing, the way it worked out. And we're super excited to have you both. But I got to tell you, talking to race fans, and that's all I do is talk racing here at Owosso. There's a lot more excited to see Keelan than you. Uh,
Yeah.
it's the future, I guess, is we all know what happened yesterday, and it's the path ahead and the future of auto racing. And I know, at least here in the Midwest and in Michigan, I think asphalt short tracks are taking a little comeback. So we're
I
excited.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And folks like you and your staff there at Owasso are a big part of that, because you believe in short track asphalt racing, and I believe that we're 10, 15 years behind the dirt world curve of purses and car count and exposure and all the things that are happening over there. And I think a lot of us have just realized it. I know, for our Cars Tour group and the ownership group and the belief that it has in what the potential is for the growth of asphalt short track racing is literally a few simple things: structure, organization, and people that actually care about it and following through on all those things on a daily basis. Now that's a lot of work, and I don't think that the outside world realize how much this whole world has kind of had these little pockets of people protecting what they do at a racetrack because it's good for their one little business. And I think getting in and breaking a lot of those pockets up for the greater good of short track racing and what's good for the competitors, not just somebody's business, is as important as anything that happens. And I think one of the craziest things that I hear all the time: you can't run this like a normal business. That is complete garbage. That is one of the biggest things that we've done. Now you have to make some decisions that are outside of a normal business decision that people would look at you and say, "Why would you do that?" But you can still run it plus or minus, right? It's good business or it's bad business. Now the investments and things that we make, we believe in, and I think that we're in a fortunate spot to do that. But you can still run these businesses, at least to zero, which is what we shoot for, to make sure that we're the time and effort that we're putting in, there's going something that puts everything on the front side of what you do. So it's structure, organization, and a proper business function are the most important things that go with this world, and it's really not a common practice at a lot of the places that we go.
Absolutely. But watching you and what you guys are doing at Kern and the Cars Tour and the Owosso Speedway, you're right. We're on the path, and we got the people that believe in us and the racers that believe in us. Having the Harvicks come to our track, and we've already had a lot of good race car drivers at Owosso. We are in the right path. And Kevin, when you think about short track racing, right after World War II, there was over 2,000 racetracks in this country, and we're down to under 800. And just to your point of what you just said, a lot of people don't understand the business aspect of it. It's not easy. It's not just swinging the gates open at a short track on a Friday night or a Saturday and go racing. It is everything that comes to it to make it safe and operational and make it a business. And I'm grateful in Michigan here. Owosso Speedway is the oldest track in Michigan, and we're the 12th owners of it. So when you really think about that, this track started in 1939. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
What those folks went through all those years to keep it a racetrack, not just we're getting the glory because we're investing and we're fixing the place up. And for me, it's the right time in my life to be able to do this because, I tell people I don't hunt, I don't fish, I'm no good at golf. So
Hmm.
if I've ever had time off, I want to be at a racetrack. If that's everything from a NASCAR track to a dirt track to any short track, this is my dream. And my wife of 30 years have supported me, and so it's the right time with our family and our business. We're in the trucking business, to bring Owosso Speedway to a platform that it is going to be a racetrack for decades and decades to come. And what we're excited about is, looking at the Keelans and, Wyatt Miller coming up and those names to be able to come. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're grateful for you to come. We'd love to get Dale to come. But when our grandkids are talking about it, we want this to be a racetrack for decades and decades to come. So that's really the excitement to watch, and super excited. You won't believe the phone calls that we're getting here at Owosso, the pre-sale buying of tickets because of the duo of Kevin and Keelan coming. So it's super exciting. And now that we are a couple weeks away, we're really excited. And so we want to definitely thank you for you guys doing this. And we're watching everything. We're watching, obviously it worked out great with those West Coast races with you and Keelan because
Yeah.
we got done racing here at Owosso and we actually the management team jumped in the booth and a few of our fans and we watched you guys at Bakersfield and we watched you up there at Monroe, Washington. And so we're watching you. We're fans as well. And we're fans of the industry and everything here at Owosso from kids starting in mini wedge go-karts right on up to 16 different divisions going to run here this year. We're super excited, and not only to watch you and Keelan compete at our track, but short tracks are tough. And this track's went through some struggled times in ownership that they had a hard time in the past keeping the gates open. So to shine some light on it, that we have new life in short track racing and asphalt racing in general, right here in mid Michigan. We're just super excited for you guys to help come do that. I think you're going to find it's a very racy racetrack. It's got a new surface in the fall of 22. So it's starting to get just a year three of it. It's starting to get just a little bit of texture to it, or I guess, whatever you look at, it was super smooth the first year, and now it's
Right.
starting to get its little tiny imperfections, which from hearing a lot of guys race, sometimes some guys like to run on a worn out racetrack. So we're getting excited to the path ahead now that we're starting to get the second groove and the top groove coming in.
Well, it's always great to go new places, but I think for me, I was really fortunate to have a lot of success at the Michigan Speedway there in the Cup car and Xfinity car and all the things that I was able to create a fan base with up there. And I love the fact that we have re-engaged with those hardcore NASCAR fans, and I've figured out where they all went. They've all gone to the local short tracks everywhere across the country, and I think that was one of the most. I think we'll experience the same thing at your track as well when we come in a couple weeks with the fans. But when we went to Evergreen a couple weeks ago, the last time they ran a NASCAR touring race there, or a NASCAR national event there, was 1999. I was actually in that race in the truck series, and Keelan made it very clear that it was in a different century, which unfortunately caught a lot of attention from the fans and the media to make fun of me. But that's what I'm here. I'm the whipping board, to be able to help this process and have fun with it. But to hear those fans talk about the 29 car, a lot of them, have been fortunate to see that four car, win a championship in a lot of races as well. But there's a whole group of fans out there that love what we're doing across the country with asphalt short track racing, and the appreciation that not only the fans have, but the competitors for the added structure and attention and things that they're getting at great events, because that's in the end, that's what we all want, right? We want to be in front of as many people as possible, having as most fun as possible. Racetracks that are a part of the community, racetracks that know how to promote and sell themselves. That's what will take it all to the next level, and that's what we're seeing. That's what we saw at Kern. That's what we've seen, at Evergreen. That's what we'll see at your place there in Owosso. That's what we're going to see when we go to Colorado. So, this movement of asphalt short track racing is real, and we're getting to witness it one race at a time. And I think there were 6 or 7 thousand people at Washington. That's probably probably a start of where you're going to be in a couple weeks in the grandstands, and Colorado will be the same way. So it's going to be a great month for racing, and I can't wait to be a part of that and engage with those hardcore NASCAR fans that have they've kind of been a little sleepy lately as far as where they are at the big tracks. So we're happy that we get to show them the next generation of racers, and hopefully that re-excites them about what happens on Sunday as well, because we want the grassroots system to do exactly what it does with the racers, and that's feed our fans, from the short track system to turn the race on Sunday, or show up at your local race when NASCAR comes to town for the big races. So that's it's all exciting. I can't wait to get up there. All the pictures and everything that I've seen of Owosso Speedway is it looks beautiful. So I appreciate all you guys are doing for short track racing, and can't wait to have a great event.
You're right, and all those fans that rooted you on in Michigan all them years, there's a bunch of them going to be here at Owosso, and my family, we've camped in the infield at Michigan International Speedway for 18 consecutive years, and our neighbors all around us have been there for years as well. There was a lot of years that they're all Kevin Harvick fans beside me,
Yeah.
and I got to go back and admit to you that I was a Dale Earnhardt fan, of course, fan for all of the NASCAR
Yeah.
drivers in NASCAR, but I was a Dale Earnhardt fan, so I instantly started following Dale Jr. And there was years that the '88 Dale Jr. flags was hanging from the what we call our NASCAR bus, and then the neighbors all had the number 4, and we
Hmm.
just like you and Keelan having a little bit of trash talk and fun. We had a lot of years of that, and it was you versus Dale Jr. because my camp was Dale Jr. and my neighbor's camp was Kevin Harvick, and Vicky and her family will be here for this race. She did lose her husband a couple years ago, and
Oh.
she is super excited about coming here. And I will tell you, she's been your fan for many years. Back when I was trash talking her, how the '88 car was going to whoop on you. So it's fun, and you're right, it's real, and we're just super excited to be able to do this right here in Michigan. When you think about it, we're up here in the north. We only race 5 months here on this property, so it's a very big commitment for us to commit into this type of infrastructure, but it brings some of the best racing in the country for 5 months out of the year. And what we really like about it is we got 7 months out of the year that we can chase other tracks in the nation. So I'll assure you that me and my family and a lot of our loyal fans will be following Keelan around the country, especially those Cars Tours races that go a little deeper into the fall. And so again, thank you so much from the Owosso Speedway fans and our family of coming. There's some more competitors that is now signed up for this because they want to beat you in Keelan. So there's going to be more competitors here for the race, and we're just super excited about it. And I'm sure once you guys come to Owosso and see the culture and the family environment and the facility we have, I'm sure you guys will be back time and time again.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing here, and I think that a lot of our, especially our Cars Tour Southwest and Northwest guys that are not exposed to the type of events that we have consistently on the East Coast. This is as much for them, and they realize this. This is as much for them as it is anything. I mean, we could just stay on the East Coast and race all the time, but traveling around the country and trying to help tracks and competitors and get recognized by their local community or a great driver in the Northwest like Hayden Plybon that won at Evergreen last week with 34, 35 of the best pro late model guys in the country. We want those guys to go from their Northwest marquee race to your racetrack to the Master of the Pros events and the big races here and there that are across the country, and we want those fans to do the same. But we want all parts of the country, and we want all the competitors at the event to be able to sell bigger sponsorship, to get more exposure when they win, whatever that is. It's as much for them as it is for Keelan and I out there racing each other, and that's really part of the process is how do we get the racers in the events more exposure by doing this, and that's why we've done the things that we've done across the country this year. So we can't wait to see the fans that typically don't get to come and see this kind of racing. We can't wait to see a new racetrack, and we can't wait for the teams and competitors to get the exposure that they deserve on a weekly basis to let themselves shine. So I'm happy to hear that people are signing up that weren't planning on coming, or maybe they were, but it's fun to see different guys in different parts of the country, especially when you haven't been able to race this type of car. For me personally, haven't been able to race this type of car in a long time. So learning the racetracks, competitors, rules, series, all those things is a great learning curve for me because you get so many different perspectives. And as we sit down at the end of the year with the ULRA rule committee and the ABC committee, you can take the high-end race teams, and you can take the mid-tier race teams and the low-end race teams and have a great conversation about things that need to improve for all tiers of it to be more competitive and easier for the racers to go from racetrack to racetrack. That's really where some of this has been lost over the years is the rules. But we're getting ourselves back to where we need to be and getting those rules every day. We get more people believing in making the rules the same is going to be good for all racetracks to go forward in a better way.
Absolutely. And you're right. The short track racing with you guys going all over the country, it is going to result to Sunday races as well in the future. So, yeah, thank you for everything you guys are doing for short track racing. We're sure doing our part up here. And again, we're big race fans, so it's easy for us. So we're excited to see you guys in just a couple weeks. And myself, our family, our fans will be watching all the trash talk because that all leads up to the hype. It's always the hype, the pregame, right? The pregame before the race. It gets everybody excited, and you're going to see a lot of smiles when you get here in a couple weeks.
Well, I can't wait. And right now I'm getting shut out. So hopefully before I get there at Hickory, I can at least try to get at least at least make it competitive here over these 8 races that we're running against each other. So, but I might still have a goose egg in the win column as well for the little showdown. So we're having fun with it, and whatever the score is, in the end of it, it doesn't really matter. We're going to come there and have a great event and look forward to seeing the facility and meeting everybody in person.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.